Welcome in, one and all. Welcome in, welcome in. Happy New Year, everybody. My name is Joruis Yazura. I gotta stop doing this at this point. Who knows what you would find with the new year have come. Maybe it's just gonna be the year that you have finally did what you wanted to do, which I can't really say what it is because I am not you. Like, legitimately, I'm not you, so I don't know what it is. For all I know, you want to win the lottery. For all I know, you want to learn how to drive a car. For all I know, you want to somehow build an X-Wing and have it actually fly. If you need a test pilot, I'm okay with that. Okay, I just want an X-Wing, okay? Well, okay, I just want something I can fly in space. Alright. Other than that, I hope you all had an amazing new year. I sure wish I did. I got sick. So yeah, that wasn't exactly fun. Yeah, I wanted to do an all-day stream. Then I forgot to actually plan out the all-day stream, so I just did Smash. And then when I got tired of that, I had no idea what to do next, so I just kind of stopped. Then I was going to say, oh, I'll do a bit later. And later came, and I never did anything because I am very poor at planning, as you can clearly tell. Oh, boy. But, hey. New year coming, new Joruis, new everything. Who knows what's going to happen? Well, actually, I do. Because I got one thing coming in February that is going to be big for me at the very least. And I hope to see you guys there. Because, well, you kind of got a little taste of it with the brand new stream art, the new opening screen. That's kind of a hint at a new me. And a whole new everything. But hey, the big moment when it comes up will be very, very important to me. Because this is also kind of a I told you so from a friend of mine and another fellow VTuber. Well, that and some other changes, which is going to include longer streams, which I have been trying to wean myself into with these kind of games, and a heavier focus on like certain types of games that I actually find appealing. Yeah, I'm still going to be playing fighting games. I love fighting games. You can't change that. And I'm going to go back to doing more cooking streams. Those are also something I love to do. But I'm just not going to play, oh, these are games my friends love, so I should play them. Because I kind of found out pretty quickly there are certain games I just can't really stand doing. And there are some that I feel like I just need them to play alongside in order to really understand. So hey, we're gonna start the new year with a game I just started a few weeks ago on stream and need to finish. I know I was supposed to say new stuff, but heck, I still gotta lean myself into it. So yeah, we return to the Ace Attorney investigations. Because I need to figure out who the fuck this murderer was and who was the kidnapper. So off we go as Miles Edgeworth. Because I have to plan this right. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? We're just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Oh, here we are. Was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. Moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. So let's get down to it. Well, first thing first, there's this big-ass thing that's sticking out. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. It's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there. Ah, it's this fuckboy. Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? Ugh. A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren Hay. It's a name engraved on there. Pulp's pendant. It's shaped like a pair of wings. Lauren D is engraved on the back. Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Loli, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. Yeah, some of this is not right. Kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yeah, okay. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved. Or over. Hey guys, case closed. Get the car ready, and I mean the special one for the young lady.
Hold it!
Again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? The officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Crap, he's right. I did say that back then. Oh boy. Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it. Thanks for the confession. Alright, Ling, it's much too early to decide this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. We got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of what has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm a kidnapper and a killer. Isn't that enough? It's fine if you're one behind everything, but only if it's the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away after losing my... Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. I'm the one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we can get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Armando would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. There, are you satisfied? She just confessed to her crime a second time. At least you had the guts to admit what you've done. Can at least respect you that much. Mr. Pops, is that what you said really the truth? Yes, it is. If it's the truth, I'm certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there's something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Number one, where'd you get the gun?
Hold it!
You knew? How did you know something like that? Oh, no. What should I do? Okay, what's wrong with her now? Come on, isn't it obvious? You're making a scary face again, that's why. Why don't you try asking her in a nicer, more gentle way? Stop it, Lauren. You're always like this. Always fall for a stern-looking one. That's why you always be unhappy. Or maybe that's it. She's been bewitched by your icy glare. Mind your own business, Kay. Now then, Mr. Pops, Miss Pops, let's continue your testimony.
Hold it!
Why did you believe that? Anyone who knows Mr. Armando would think the same. I bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure. I suppose he would be a doting father like Mr. Armando. Always figured that it was too, and I always envious of Lance for it. Oh, because you're dad's. I got this pendant from my father, and I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday. He'll welcome me to his arms, riding on the back of a Pegasus. That pendant, she must truly believe it to be the wings of a Pegasus. That pendant does catch my eye, to be honest.
Hold it!
Would you mind telling us a little bit about the plan itself? Captured Lance. Ooh, how did you do that? Well, Mr. Deacon did that on his own, so I don't quite know. Ugh, and here I thought you knew how to steal people away. I shudder to think what she would do with such knowledge. Sorry, I really don't know, but somehow Mr. Deacon was able to contain him. All we had to do after that was wait for the ransom to be paid, but Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me.
Hold it!
Why did you think he did? I have no idea, but maybe he had planned to do so from the very beginning. His Pops. Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely. I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you.
Hold it!
Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you? You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence.
Take that!
So what about the pendant? This horse pendant along with this piece of evidence shows you who you really are. Duh. They match.
Take that!
These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're made of the same material. I believe these two pendants are actually one. Shall we give it a try? Oh, well, you know, it is a Pegasus. You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be. You lack imagination, Mr. A. Lang. Very well, let me show you with this evidence.
Take that!
Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name is Colin Devora, the name that is etched in the horse pendant. I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written on Mr. Devora's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this.
Take that!
Mr. Devora had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops. He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to be involved in a kidnapping plot?
Not so fast!
And what's so funny, Agent Ling? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? You think it is much too innocent. After all, I thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It's no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Mano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So this is his version of how things might have went. You don't have to prove that either one didn't know their relationship, right? You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter? That's right. As one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? Better take a hard look at the evidence.
Hold it!
I don't know about that one. You think they knew? Yeah. And I don't think that only the victim knew. I think the girl realized as well. I don't know. She was acting pretty weird. I mean, that is a possibility, so... Got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore, No coincidence that the green-eyed pair became involved in the house.
Hold it!
One is a butler and one is a friend of the sun, you mean? They probably thought that was their best shot. Is that what you honestly believe?
Hold it!
So you mean how they plotted to commit the crime as blood relatives? The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were in fact family.
Hold it!
I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence. Without evidence, we're stuck in a stalemate. Each thing isn't wrong, it's certainly a probable one. Better hurry up and do something or Lauren's gonna wind up really bad. I don't know. Let me take a look at my history. I mean, no, my, something's not right about this whole possibility. I kind of want to present this one, but I got a feeling it'll probably bite me in the ass. I should do this more often. Because I feel like that might actually be the reason they don't know each other.
Objection!
No. No, that's a bite in my ass. Yeah, that wasn't the piece I was looking for. Let me just keep pressing. I don't think I got everything.
Knuckle back!
I can tell you that being related by blood isn't proof of nothing. I keep pressing, but I'm trying to think. What is it? Probably thought it was their best shot. So we know this is not it. Do. Ancient Lang isn't wrong, it's near as possible, but do something or Lauren is gonna be stuck. Yeah, I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna have to think it through. Do. Maybe not, actually. Because I'm probably thinking about it a different way.
Objection!
The kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area in the back. You found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout, but as for the other 3, we can assume that they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group, and believes that this third person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who? Who is this mastermind? Wait a minute.
Take that!
This guy is gonna be the biggest. These people's reaction. Yes, the abduction was in fact schemed by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which directly contradicts what he said. Has been held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me, will you? I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in the room blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away as soon as I can. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. Because he's a prosecutor, because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There is a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push. Hold it! By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yeah, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that I made my escape until... Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers? They spoke in hushed tones, but I couldn't catch bits of the conversation. Definitely 2 people. One of them was definitely a woman. So scared I couldn't tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move.
Hold it!
The kidnappers disappeared? Room felt like it was been left behind like I was an unwanted mutt. And what do you mean by unwanted mutt? What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything new, you know. Poetic simile. You should learn to use them too. You may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well. Thanks for cuff, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone.
Hold it!
Okay, this guy is lying through his teeth, and I can feel it, but I gotta push just to get something I can present. Because when you immediately go for the, oh, you seem unrefined, or try to dictate somebody's words, you are bluffing, and you are trying to deflect to make us look bad. Rule number 1, when somebody tries to use the upper position, if they try to use that when you bring up a good point, it means they're bullshitting. Rule number 2, never interrupt your enemy when they make a mistake. And rule number 3, stop playing with that damn bow tie. Also, somebody get those handcuffs off that guy. I gotta keep pushing.
Hold it!
Because, if I recall, when I tried to do the underground... Well, no, when Kay tried to do the underground, she fell on her ass. And she couldn't find a way out. Oh boy, now I remember. Someone was blocking it, not doing that, and it was this.
Objection!
You say that the door leading outside was locked, but was it really? And that freak out tells me I'm right. We're talking about the room behind the saloon, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply shut by the sword, and it was jammed. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, why did you not simply remove the sword and escape? As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. This is why I used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own.
Not so fast!
You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important. And what would that be? A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an uptight, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as kidnapping himself?
Objection!
Oh man, I have the perfect one for you.
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collection bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated some debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Looks like hard. Must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your old man, huh? I thought to myself. Damn, that made things fast. It's life. We really are bound by our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town. To be well off with that 1 million, but now the dream is over. Then you are giving yourself up? He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, that's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. We left him inside the room as Lolly and I made our escape. 4 different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. Right then, the old man had to wake up. I was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. And Oliver put a bad Badger costume on. Took the suitcase with the $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that could be only Ben badly. Oh, that's gonna feel bad. Okay, tell me what happened. There was a bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the 1 million in it, but that Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun from... There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground. I think the bigger picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? If what you say is true, you would be surprised how other people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. What I mean is, listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. Yeah, he said Bad Badger with the thing.
Hold it!
You were able to clearly see the gun? Did you really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it either. The father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops, please calm down, take a deep breath, and then would you allow me to please hear that last statement once more? Nope, nope, no, 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 nope, nope, I already found it.
Objection!
Oh, wait, wrong one. Yeah, that was not it either. Shit. I'm thinking about something else. Yeah, this one. He's right-handed.
Objection!
I was thinking about the costume, but I was forgetting this guy was right-handed. Have a dossier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed. The person pointing a gun at you from the top of the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Miss Pops told us earlier. There was a bad badger pulling a suitcase with $1 million in it. According to you, the bad badger had a gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops? That's the case. Even I can see there was a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the bad badger, and yet the badger had both hands full. There are two pieces of information that contradict each other. And that's the fact that they're both correct. They're both correct. Miss Pop's entire statement rests on the fact that she saw sunglasses and a beard. What if the badger that she saw wasn't wearing pants?
Take that!
The costume has two parts to them, a head and a body. The head Miss Pop saw was probably really the head of the bad badger. However, it is not possible that the body was that of the entirely different badger. Yes, or to put it bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. Oh, wrong button.
Take that!
It's the proto badger. Yes, and it is a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue badger costume, so that's out. And the pink badger is the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. On its left is the proto badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the proto badger costume? Ha! Are you saying that I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the bad badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Pops while wearing that hideous thing? The stage was set up in the stadium was nothing more than a setup. And it was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing in there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she could pull the trigger. Man, you a bad liar, you floppy-eared little bitch. There's but one reason. Lance Amano. You're the real culprit. Behind the murder of Oliver Deacon. Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand? It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held a gun in his left hand. Yeah, but what hand doesn't prove a thing. Besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the proto badger's bulletproof. One misfire and he could have found himself dead, right?
Objection!
Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here now. But I believe he had thought of that as well, and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. Simple. He gave her a fake gun. There was a prop gun that was missing.
Take that!
We found one having the Bad Badger costume in the hideout. A broken one. It is not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus it's missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Gadger carries. Fires blanks. Miss Pops, where's the gun you use now? That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I heard enough. All of you have been spouting so far pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove that I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. I knew it! You're full of it! However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. You saw the victim in a state of being restrained? Okay, this I gotta hear. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By the time Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon, he had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the next room next to— Wait a minute, hold up. I know that is a load of bullshit, so I'm gonna have to press on that one. Because that's where we were tied up at the very beginning of this game. So we're gonna have to go and press that one. There is no way that this guy thinks he can get away with it. Because I literally had to experience that. Why does that sound wrong to me? Because we have been there. I remember that as soon as possible. As soon as he said tied up in the room next to us, I remember that the room we were in. Alright, Miss Pops, I need you to listen very carefully. What you remember is kind of wrong. And I'll explain why.
Hold it!
You sure that it was Mr. Deacon that you saw? Alright, what is her explanation? Did you go into the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Okay. Lance, he's such a kind soul. There, are you telling me that you did not confirm it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the room. He had a Bad Badger's head on. Yep, there it is. There's one problem. I was in there.
Objection!
Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. The person you actually saw was me. It was me. I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the million and run. And in the end, there was a point of it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? You show Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a Bad Badger's head on, and then made your costume escape together, or so you pretended. Exactly. That, I believe, Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with the prop sword, and then he escaped via the passageway. Don't get caught up in the tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave. We heard a lot coming out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and the subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold. Even if it were the case, Mrs. Pops would have still seen me tied to the beam. Ugh. Oh, this guy. Mr. Amano? Oh, Miles, my boy. It looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Let's see. You are the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. It probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Hold up. Wait a minute. Tell me what we got. Is that what I think it is? Couldn't wait for the police, so I went and found it myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. So, the one in the country who actually obeys the... Ugh! Is there nobody in this country who actually obeys the law? There. Agent Lang, please calm down. What the heck is this? This appears to be a letter from the chief of police. Please allow Mr. Armando complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says. What in the actual fuck? Okay, yeah, I'm with Lang on this one. That one is fucked up. I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. No. This wasn't meant to be strong-arm you or anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land. Ugh, I really can't say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand. It doesn't matter who found the evidence, if values remain unchanged. Alright, let's take a look. Already got the results back. And special forensic lab I'm good at turns with conduct the test. They verified that the blood belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints that were yours were Lauren's. What?! To find that final piece of evidence. No. There is no way that I'm doing this. I'll be the judge of that. Let's start with this piece right here. Looks like a mirror piece, I believe. Or a piece of shard. Pieces of a mirror. But why are they in here? So this is the bullet hole. That actually matches up with what they said. Why is that? Because it is proof that the victim was shot at point blank. And finally, we have the gun. Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince Mr. Edgeworth over there. Alright, let me hear your bullshit. Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun, and they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. The fingerprints on the weapon, huh? Oh no, this isn't helpful at all. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch as he takes the punishment for her crimes. Maybe all you could do, however... I still have a case to solve, and a job to do. The job is to unravel your insidious lie. Because I've seen these lies before.
Hold it.
So, are we not gonna ask why the hell there are still fingerprints on there when they've literally been thrown in the ocean? Or am I thinking that fingerprints work differently? Forensic money could buy and perform. I find that a bit peculiar. What should I do? Raise an objection. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Papa's print should be on that gun to begin with. And that's because she was in costume, wasn't it?
Take that.
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any fingerprints if she was in costume. Yeah, you found fingerprints, but easily possible to put them somewhere else. And by that, I mean, she could have grabbed the gun earlier by mistake. Trust me, I'm playing another Ace Attorney style game, and I know about the fingerprint thing after the first case. Ah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the highwell. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. This is when Miss Paul's fingerprints found a way in the gun. Do you understand now, Mr. Romano? The fingerprints do not prove that Miss Pops was in the murderer. You seem very deflective, man. And I've seen deflective people before. That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence. Starting to Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because there was no real crime scene but a setup. Do 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 do.
Take that.
Let us take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. The bullet hole.
Take that.
The burn around the bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there should be a gunpowder burn. Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all about the answers, why don't you tell me where the real crime scene is? Lance had to set it up like Mr. Deacon was back in the hideout. If that's the case, then a murder must have happened prior to that. And if the location where Lance and the victim were just before there was prison was... They were at the haunted house!
Take that.
I think it's not unreasonable to assume that the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that it's highly likely that it was there. Those shark glasses.
Take that.
They were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. You don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume. That's actually pretty dangerous. However, there was one place I could think of where there's a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Romano, I propose that you kill Mr. Deacon with the revolver in the haunted house. And after that, you stole the blue Badger-mobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the blue Badger-mobile was stolen confirms that fact. Miles, my boy, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Romano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Romano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you? I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Shine? Wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror left for the haunted house. You see? Isn't that possible the fragments got there from there? But Agent Lang, there were no fingerprints on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Li Jing says, one choose path. The word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you? Do I have solid evidence to prove the murder took place in the haunted house? The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any, shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At the time, the only people at the haunted house besides myself were Lance and Mr. Deacon. And if I could prove the murder took place there, then I could prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime scene was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted. But you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important for me is the truth is brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Ugh. Shine! I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately. Understood. I'll go get the gateway of the group's approval. Who was that? Now. Let's hold on for a second. There is no need to obtain approval, Mr. Romano. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Shine! It's the deed to the haunted house. The deed? Read it out loud! Gatewater Land, Inc. hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Romano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in cash. Oh, this motherfucking hey Hachi ass looking bitch! Ugh. Oh, I'm about to go across the screen and strangle this fat ass myself. Yeah, Kay, I'm about to do the same thing. I'm about to strangle this bitch. Ran to the owner to try to, well, why the fuck would you even want to buy it? Okay, this looks way too set up. I get this guy as part of it too. Oh, that's right. The disgusting suitcase belonged to you, didn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you can have it back now. You used the ransom money? My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. Oh my god. Oh my god. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course. Wow, we were busy listening to Lance's story. Mr. Romano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. Miles, you should hurry home, my boy. I'm really losing my temper. If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. Alright. Nope, we're ending this today. We're gonna figure out this damn story. So this guy's preempting us for all of that. We can't really search there. Can't get permission to investigate the crime scene. The truth will be lost. Hold it. Hold it. Okay. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this. And what is that? When the people are in a bind, the hero of justice appears to save the day. Look, you just leave it to me. For I am Kay Faraday, the second of the greatest Yagatarasu. But I thought you were a thief, not a hero. Yagatarasu is noble and is always a thief of justice. Is that? Little thief! Okay, you are a lifesaver. We got enough information, and if we have the layout, we could probably just recreate it. Gotta factor in everybody's testimony. Recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. Maybe able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try. Agent Lang. Yeah, so you want to use your little toy. Be my guest. Okay, hang on. You're all about to witness the true power of the real modern-day Robin Hood. Detective Gumshoe, is there a copy of the haunted house blueprints among the priests for reference? Yes, sir. We got it, just in case we need it for the kidnapping case. Alright, we got everything we need. Boom! New place! And we don't even need your permission to do it, you little fat bitch! It's like we're inside the haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth. Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene. We really can't interact with stuff. You haven't figured it out yet? Yeah, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I'm gonna make you do all the hard work. Very well. I'd like to inspect the moment at which I was ambushed by my abductor. Two of them definitely end up place in this. If I can verify that, I may provide them with a new lead. I had just come out of the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At the time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hallway. Yeah, what's the badger doing all the way down there? I also thought it strange. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set up there for atmosphere. Do you know which badger it was? No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was a silhouette. In that case, I guess I could just program a badger silhouette for now. Programming complete. So I see the badger. There I am. And I started walking towards the exit. And that's when you were struck from behind, right? Yeah. But that's odd. The hallway's a dead end. Where did your assailant come from? There's only one location I can think of. Probably where the other badger was.
Take that!
If I go out, I'd probably see him if he was standing right there, so... Probably one of the kidnapped costumes. Perfect camouflage to the rest of the house. Precisely. He waited until I made the drop-off and was about to leave. And then he just saw me take a step towards the exit. He stood and launched his attack. I can think of no better hiding place than this. Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself. Just don't use it to do anything criminal, okay, gay? Well, Lance? What? Well, what are you asking me for? As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you a chance to confess first. I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. I left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. Set foot inside? Is he telling the truth, or is that another lie? Alright, then you're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who insulted me. Put in information, Mr. Deacon was the bad badger, right? Since the badger has a gun attached to the right hand, I'll have to change it so that the weapon is his left hand. How to verify the facts of the recreation? It's a replica of myself. You were totally oblivious that you were behind you, huh? Yeah, I suppose I was also blamed for what happened to me. It was incredibly dark, which was all the more reason I should have been more alert. I vow to never be caught by surprise again. You didn't recreate the weapon? Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea. But I doubt it was something barehanded. Okay, where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. It was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Oh, sounds painful. Why are you smirking like that when you say it? How much is your imagination? Now let's just see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. What about... I got it. What about the sword?
Take that!
I have it. There was indeed one object laying in the hallway. A prop sword. Yeah, although we did find it at the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yeah. It's possible that the culprit took it when it was using it. Leave no evidence behind. Correct. It may be worth more thorough examination. Let's try Luminol. He'd be wearing a costume, so there's no point doing prints, so... Let's see if we can at least find some of my blood on there. Agent Lang, may I ask your cooperation in this matter? Like I have a choice? Shine, call the lab boys. Understood. Except for the dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless. So it must have been the left side of the prop and hit you with. Wait. Something's not right. Or until I inspect everything that's suspicious. And in the next instance, the badger swings his left arm completely with the weapon hand. Yes, to club me in the left side with the prop sword. I want to see the pain expression on your face. It's just fine the way it is. Wait a minute, maybe not. Is it just my imagination or something not quite here? Probably turned this into one of those arcade brawlers if they wanted. No, but Phoenix Wright was in Marvel vs. Capcom, and he was really good, which is funny to me. But there is something absolutely wrong with this very picture. And that's what's been bugging me for a while. Except for the bit on the left side, the prop sword is spotless. However, if the culprit used his left hand, the blood would be on the opposite side. If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's right side would hit. And the blood was on the left side, which means it should be his right hand. The prop sword has a large hand guard attached to it. It'd probably be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, it could be that the left hand or both hands, it must have been the right. Change the data to reflect that. Not yet, Kate. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters to the right hand, it only creates a new contradiction. And that would be the fact that the gun is missing. Because the gun would have to be on the thing. The Bad Badger already holds a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition. And what? It wasn't in his left hand, then the right hand. It means that the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Are you paying attention now, Lance? Mr. Deacon could not have been the one that struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect. Fine, it was me, I hit you. It appears that you lied to me yet again, but to see how quickly you could catch up. Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Ah, yes, but that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used his right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one who struck me. For you see, firing a gun as a non-dominant hand is difficult. But that level of dexterity is required to swing a prop sword. Okay, please input the new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say the Proto-Badger? But you'd be surprised who would end up in a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Now, we have a faithful recreation of the situation. Alright, all I have to do is examine the new creation and... What is actually so funny? The amusing little gadget sure packs a punch, right, Sheena? It was all I could do to hold back my laughter in. Hey, don't make fun of little thief, you mean old werewolf. He and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other. You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I sack Wiley by listening. But the cruel conclusion you two keep spewing don't whet the wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in there, right? Well, when you put it like that, your superstitions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm gonna let you in on this. There is a trick to this haunted house. And what may that be? A trick beyond that your tiny imagination can produce. Sheena! Here you are. Now then, what you missed, girlie, is written here in the pamphlet. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House. The Disappearing Badger. What is this? I'd say that someone around here is fond of theatrics. And as you can see, he set the doll at the very end of the hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll. How can that be? Guess that throws your whole theory about it being your attacker right out the window. But that can't be right. So yeah, Edgeworth has to deal with what he's been putting Phoenix through. I bet you're getting a good laugh out of this, aren't you, Amatron? And then he laid down and pretended to be in it instead. If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how could he hide a giant doll? Do you get it now? Thanks to your presumptions, your logic started off weak and led you to a completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, I wonder if you could please input the new information for me. You don't know when to quit, do you? I can't quit, not until I declare that I found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks. Shh, there you are again. We'll see if I care. Okay, I'm updating the recreation. Let me see. Looks pretty weird. Look at how you changed it from the blue badger to the proto badger all of a sudden. Some badger was just a doll. Where was my attacker hiding? Yeah, let's go look around. When you take a look around, it almost feels like a house of mirrors. Indeed, who has ever even had as many reels before? Lets me know that's a real crime scene thanks to the mirror shards. Hey wait, these shards, there's something different about them. The ones we found are thicker than the shards in the mirror on this wall. And look, there's some sort of design on the back too. Pieces of the costume certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of the mirrors? Let me think for a second. What do we got so far? Just mirror shards. Where the proto badger showed up in our recreation. Now the question is, where did he come from? Yeah, but there's no place to hide in our current model. Must be an inconsistency somewhere. Pieces of set armor are piled here. Why do you think they almost always have sets of armors in houses? I suppose the sort of interior design is meant to bring out a sense of abnormality. Why do all your explanations have harder words to understand? Now try to explain it again, but this time so that even a thief like me can get it. That maybe prove most difficult task. So, an attorney has a spirit medium as their assistant, and now a prosecutor has a thief as their assistant. I gotta take a look at this blue badger. That's the bad badger. According to the Blue Badger Bible, it says that they are each other's worst enemies. All because one's an ally just the other's a vile criminal with a gun. Perhaps they were destined to battle each other, much like the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. But there's something wrong about it. And I think it has something to do with this. Eureka! Hold on a second here. There is something wrong with this blue badger. What is it like? The way that the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can't be. I put it in the image exactly as it's shown in the pamphlet. So then why is the blue badger dressed up in reverse? I'm thinking about something. Let me think about it. So if they're mirror shards and it's in reverse, there's another mirror here. Okay, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors? A house of mirrors? Oh, that would explain the reversed or mirror image. Yeah, the blue badger might be nothing more than the reflected image of a real one. Then was the blue badger we saw just a reflection? When I looked down the hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, there might be a mirror. Oh, then it would actually be an L shape. Precisely. I was to see the hallway was almost pitch black. And there has been a beam in the way that obstructed my view of the other hallway. Why would they build a place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is another attraction at an amusement park. They created a mirror wall for the very specific purpose, one that I can point out. And that's because it's an attraction.
Take that!
As is written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is the mystery of the disappearing badger. You mean they bit the mirror for the trick alone? But you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely there. That was true, but at the time, however, doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. And that's all you gotta do is move the wall. To remove the reflected image, simply remove the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it would be moved. Then, beyond where the wall is an empty hallway had to be created. So when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would just open the mirror. And when they wanted to hide it, they simply had to close it again. That explains why the other side of these fragments have a design on them. And if the pattern is the same as the other walls of the hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it blends in with the rest of the wall. That is the mirror trick that the haunted mansion employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for my culprit. Also, think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside my field of vision. It's simple. The hallway behind the mirror.
Take that!
With a very large blind spot that no one could see beyond, and it was there. If my assailant had hit on the other side of the movable wall, I'd not be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to the blue badger doll. Exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the hall. Hold on. I just thought of something. Yeah? Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, we could probably assume it is. Most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, doesn't mean that the victim was there when the mirror broke. Wait, that sound. Leave the money and go, now. The sound I heard was most definitely the sound of a mirror breaking. Okay, I'd like you to input some new information. Don't scare me like that. Sorry, but I need you to recreate something for me. Sure, whatever you need. So what do you need anyway? If you could first recreate this hallway just before I entered the dining room. You got it. Now, this I believe is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although at the time I thought it was a single straight hallway. And then I went inside. Around then I heard the sound of a mirror shattering. Mirror what? Then. Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken. Okay, so when you stepped outside into the hallway again, the mirror walls sound no longer exist. Okay, please recreate that. Got it. Which means that it should be like this. But with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his proto-badger suit? That's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. That about wraps it up. The sucker finally solved everything. No, not yet. The even larger contradiction has now reared its head. Perhaps you did not notice, but this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. It'll probably be the empty hallway. Okay, take a good look at the end of the hallway. Oh, there's no blue badger there. Exactly, the blue badger that we saw was not there. This is the final point of this long chain of logic. The last remaining contradiction. So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right? And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who or what did you suppose it was? I believe the real identity to our mystery is the costume.
Take that!
The badger I saw was in actuality the dead victim's body. Agent Lang, the entirety of my complete logic is my final and decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off, and you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking to be the real time of death of Mr. Deacon. Maybe it was due to their fighting, or perhaps it was a life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror was broken. You were in the house at the time, right? Are you telling me you missed the sound of a gunshot?
Objection!
There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time. All for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Now then, I'd like you to recall something for me. Who was it with the victim at the haunted house? Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of a gun and use it on him? It was you, Lance Amano! And he got caught. It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent after I hung up with you. He shoved me to the ground and straddled me. I fought back as hard as I could, grabbed his gun, and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I had taken his gun and shot him first, he would have been the one. I would have been the one to find. He's not a criminal. He escaped from jail. See, that justifies self-defense. My boy was only protecting himself. That remains to be seen, and will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I relieve the rest to you. As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight. It had nothing to do with the murder. The only person you should be arresting is Lance. Dad! Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. By the way, do you know why I'm really here? And how can I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question? You wooed me. I came out of the way to cross the sea just to see you, you know. You came to see me? What's this supposed to mean? I have a few things I would ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case 10 years ago. Case from 10 years ago? Oh, what's the name that you use here for that case? Sheena! It's known as KG-8 incident. The KG-8 incident? Oh, so you remember it? Good. Then you'll recall that the trigger in that case was the Amano Group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an internal smuggling ring. Smuggling. There's that word again. At the time, the person that was arrested was the ringleader. Was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin DeVore. Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. DeVore, I always suspected you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. DeVore was arrested in your place of you, in which, when he broke out, you hid from the police. You hid him in exchange for a silence on your little dirty secret. Boy, you can stop talking now. We all know you're fucked. I have no idea what you're talking about. Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat. What the? Who the heck was that? Oh, it's this guy. And who the heck are you? I'm Jocks Portman, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh, Jocks, thank goodness you're here. Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I got the back into the prosecutor office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, the whole lot of you. Guys, arrest the 2 suspects. Oh, I almost forgot. Mr. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, for working so hard to fulfill my goal. Hey, is that any way to thank someone? And what the heck is that supposed to mean? You were so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with the evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So how does it feel to bite the hand that feeds you? The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow. It's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working for Mr. Armano in the smuggling ring, right? No, I would never do such a thing. What the heck? Erntel's never wrong. I mean, in your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring. Ah, so Agent Lang's expecting my relation to Mr. Armano. That must be the reason behind his antagonistic attitude. On top of that, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind these closed doors too, are you? The courtroom is a place where the truth is revealed. Well, don't worry. It's not only you. The whole lot of you can't be trusted. A prosecutor who never lost in 40 years, every defendant found guilty. Fueled by that kind of thinking, it is any wonder that courts produce nothing but false allegations and lies. It would seem that this disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the court, why is this man so angry with us all? Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving. So don't forget it. Please wait. Agent Sheena. Why does Agent Lang hate all prosecutors so much? Lang is the head of the long-honored House of Lang and Jingva. The heads of all police-related divisions in that country were of Lang blood. Were? What do you mean by that? Aren't they still? They were revered, but that was long ago. They don't hold that sort of sway anymore. And it was all because of the courts. How can that be? The prosecutor once withheld and tampered with the evidence one of the Lang detectives found. The evidence purity was tarnished and it cost the Lang family its honor and trust. But not all prosecutors are like that. Even so, Lang will never respect the courts again, or any prosecutor. So Agent Lang is a man who hates all courts and is unwilling to forgive prosecutors. Man, what a piece of work that guy is. Come on, Jim. We better catch up. Yeah. We still got to deliver that thing to the old man, after all. Detective Gumshoe, I believe it's time we wrapped up and head ourselves out. Yeah, are you going home, Mr. Edgeworth? No, I've done nothing but be entangled in one mess after another since my return. If it's alright with you, can you drop me off at my office? No problem, sir. Excuse me. Yeah, what is it? That is, thank you very much. Oh, it's okay. No need to thank me, pal. Just doing my job as a detective. I guess I was fooled pretty badly by Lance. Oh, cruel fate. What a woman to do when she's been hurt by the one she loves. And to think I never realized my father was right there. I never said anything to him. I knew it. I'm a failure. Ah, there she goes, talking to herself. I wonder if you know why your father participated in the kidnapping. No, I have no idea. Your father died while he was trying to stop Lance. Which means that from the beginning, he had no interest in the staged self-abduction. Wait, then why did he? I believe it was because of your presence, Mr. Pops. Me? Lance realized that the two of you were related, which is why he used you as a hostage to coerce Mr. DeVore into cooperating. As a felon, he could not tell you that he was real relation to you. However, as the Amano family butler at the very least, he was able to watch over you. It was all so he could do, but that was the shape of the overflowing love for you. Go on, speak your mind. That is, thank you very much. You're welcome, although there is no need to thank me. Looks like you were completely stolen her away, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to go, sir. Your technique is way beyond the level of a great thief. What are you going on about now? Well, your deducing skills may be sound, but just no street smarts. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. Yeah, I mean, he still hasn't figured out who I am at all. If you haven't remembered in all this time, I guess I'm just gonna have to say it. This isn't the first time we met, you know. What? What do you mean, pal? Mr. Edgeworth? How do you know this girl? Looks like you totally forgot me too, Gummy. Gummy? Here, maybe this will jog your memory. I promised I'd return it to you one day, remember? That single piece of cloth took me back far into my past. To the fateful day 7 years ago, when I first met the then child K and Detective Gumshoe. And I say that will be it for today. Thank you all for popping into this one. And I hope you all had some fun with that one. Now, I know who I gotta go raid into next if they are actively still doing stuff. Yep, they're doing it. We're gonna go see Celtro because they're playing No Straight Roads, and let me tell you, that's something you should check out. Trust me on this one, you should check out No Straight Roads someday. But I will see you all next time.